everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Instead of my usual intro, I let the clips and footage speak for itself. This is part 6 of the cardboard T-51 power armor. We got a long video ahead of us, so sit back and relax, grab your popcorn. We're making bionical hands, or adding and creating the arms of air duct hoses, and we'll be sculpting the legs a little bit more, and adding the hamstring protection. So, yeah, enjoy. So the first thing I'm going to do is reduce the pipe on the back. I'm going to cut it like I did right there. It supports itself, so if you do it one at a time, it should be fine. But I'm going to cut it there and there, about 6.5 inches down, 3.5 inches up, and then I'm going to create a big C out of that remaining pipe, just so the cap isn't that wide in a big square going up and down. So essentially, we're just gonna make all 4 corners look like that on the back. Now that that is fixed, I added some cardboard plates right on the thighs here, so I actually have something to glue the rest of the thigh to. So I added a chunk of foam here to glue it to the cardboard, and now that is being held in place pretty good. So speaking of mistakes, it's all holding itself up very well. It's just like, it's too wide than I expected it to be this way. So on the next power armor I will shrink the PVC pipe frame down this way, because I just overcompensated a little bit. All right, so I'm starting with a single sheet of EVA foam, just like this one, except I heat formed it with my heat gun, bent it at a 90-degree angle, cut off all the puzzle pieces so I can line it up. And as you can see here, I just sketched out with my marker what pieces I want to cut out. This is to finish off that curve on the hip, and then I just imagined I will heat bend it later, but that is for underneath the thigh. I eyeballed this pattern. I'm going to cut off these puzzle pieces as well, but now we're going to heat form the rest of it to go back to the inner part of my thigh. Here is what the hamstring looks like. I cut out a notch for the back of the leg here, but here's the inside. I reinforced it with some popsicle sticks, but more on that in a second. Right there on the angle, because that's the inside. It's going to sit right here, and turns out I am going to put a hinge right here, so I had the genius idea using an actual door hinge. Now this might not mix well with foam, but that's why I added some backing with these popsicle sticks, so when the screws go into, it won't just go into the foam, it will also go into the popsicle stick. But this hinge right here allows for the actual game accurate opening of the legs. So it turns out this actually worked out pretty well. The hinges are very smooth. Take a look from this side. I haven't added this piece yet, but look at that. That is the minimum of what we're looking for. Okay, I did add it, and with some popsicle sticks, and that is what it looks like. It functions pretty good. Before we move any further with the legs, I'm going to take a new blade on my knife, and I'm going to cut off the back or alter it so the heel isn't this far back. Because remember, I had to edit the legs to thin them out a little bit more. All right, let's take a break from the legs and get a prototype on the arm going. So someone in my comments had the genius idea of using an air duct hose like this one for the limbs, because it's actually accurate to the game and functional. So we'll be using that for the arms at least, maybe for the back of the legs, but I don't know yet. However, for the hands itself, I do want to make robotic hands like I did in one of my other videos, but for that I also need an idea. So we just go into here. So I figured out a pretty good prototype for the finger, and after I made one that actually functions, I decided to go with that design. So we're going to need some thin elastic strap. I decided to make the width of the finger the width of the elastic strap, and conveniently enough, basic popsicle sticks also fit that width as well. So popsicle sticks, elastic, and some foam, EVA foam scraps. So what I did was I cut some strips along this way, about 1/8 of an inch thick by the length of the popsicle stick. For this part of the finger, I did 2 1/4 inches. For the middle section, I did 2 inches. And then the tip of the finger was whatever was left over, which happens to be 1 3/4. Glue our strips of foam like that, leaving a canal, a gap in between for the paracord. Now that the foam is on there, I'm going to continue marking these lines on the side of the foam so I know where to cut the foam later. Get a saw and lightly cut the popsicle stick till it just breaks. Oh shit, okay, it's fixable. We were just trying to break the popsicle stick, not the foam, but we will cut the foam anyway. I pushed too hard. Otherwise, break the popsicle stick like that. Then get some elastic, and you're gonna wanna cover the full length of the finger, but I left about an additional 2 inches of overhang on the paracord and the elastic strap, because remember, there's one more joint we don't have yet, and that is the knuckle on the knuckle itself. There you go. Now I'm going to cut some very minor angles right at the joints, basically where that cut already is. That was a mistake, but we're going to cut some very slim angles, because when you straighten out the finger, you want those angles to squish together, and the foam itself will provide some resistance to snap back. That's why I'm using foam, because it's resistant, and when it relaxes and heats up again, it will turn back to its original shape. Make sure you're using a very sharp knife when doing this. You don't want to damage the foam or yourself. There we go. That takes some practice, but you don't want too aggressive an angle, or you don't want the angle to be too obtuse. You want it to look like less than 45, because even though that doesn't go all the way, whenever you pull it, it will squish a little bit. Same thing here. Next, we're going to get our paracord, and we're going to glue it towards the bottom of the finger. Hold that right there. Then we're going to get another popsicle stick, and this is to recover up so the paracord doesn't slip through. And we're going to leave some extra room on each side so the foam can squish. So you want to leave a little bit of foam exposed here. But this is also for some structural support. I forgot to mention to cut with the saw on the inside of the finger so the joints can move. Alright, so now that we did that, we left a little bit of foam in between, so it adds some resistance on the wear and tear. We're going to test the angle whenever we pull the paracord. If it looks the same as this one, which is finished, we should be in good shape, which we are. So then, to add more resistance so it curls up like that, I cut some extra pieces of paracord about 1 inch big, and I'm going to glue them while I'm holding the finger backwards like this. So whenever I glue it together, it will have some pre-existing tension whenever it's in its resting phase. So whenever I pull it and let go, it will actually snap back into its original resting position. And then from that point, you should have a prototype finger. But I guess it's a patent now that I have 5. So we have this 10-inch piece of foam here with a strap for me to grab onto and a popsicle stick support. And this is where the knuckles are going to be. We're going to glue each finger on like that, and then depending on which side or which hand you're using, the thumb will go on each side of which corresponding hand you're using. This is also 4 inches wide. I added some extra room for the fingers to have some space in between. Alright, this is the state in which the hand is in right now. I had to do a lot of tweaking, and remember, this is not really beginner friendly. This entire build is not beginner friendly, but it is friendly to people who are ambitious and creative, which I believe is all 10,500 of you. Anyway, so it works good enough for my liking. I'm not going to be able to actually pick up a gun or operate like a fake Nerf gun or something like that, but it's a puppeteered hand, and it's doing its job as a prop. Like I said, a lot of tweaking with the position of the strings and zip ties, and then I also had to add a lot of extra popsicle stick support, so look out for that. And this is what it looks like in its resting position. I have not added the thumb yet. I'm gonna have to figure that out later, but we got a puppeteered hand at the least that does what I'm pretty sure anyone would be able to tell what this is at the least, so that's good enough for me. But yeah, we just need to duplicate this after adding the thumb. Okay, so I upgraded the hand a little bit. It is now full arm because the thumb, I was having trouble with it. Also, I decided I don't really need the wrist movement at all. I'm satisfied with this. So it is an extra piece of foam I spliced together to make it longer. It's all gonna get covered up in the air duct foil, so I can slide my hand through that. I added a Lego Technic piece to align all the fingers better together, but now whenever you stick your hand in the power armor, at least the plan is, this helps you align your fingers up without needing your other hand to do so. And now I can actually have my arm hang on to something while I move the thumb a little bit. And these are the fingers in motion. And you're not limited to any gestures. Heat form this piece of 5mm craft foam into a handguard shape. Goes right over the knuckles, just like that. And then it will be hidden by the duct right about there. Okay, so as you saw the bicep being made out of scrap EVA foam, here is the forearm. It is just a regular barrel of foam with a piece cut out for the elbow right here, but this is what it looks like. And I don't think I need to explain how much detail went into this. It's literally just a long barrel of foam. The arm is technically 4 pieces, which is just a big barrel of foam. The bicep, which you just saw me make a moment ago. Air duct hose arm, and of course the mechanical arms we just made a moment ago as well. And I will attach these to the air duct in the next video, but for now we're gonna have to mount these 2 elastic straps I attached to the end to the power armor itself. So let's do that. Here's what it looks like. Kind of looks like a very retro space suit. Also, I had to move that central bar in the back because it really wasn't actually holding any weight, but I decided to keep it up until now because that was getting in the way of me entering the arms easier. I know the arms in the actual video game open up the same way the legs do, but that is a challenge for future me in the next video. I just want to let you guys know, if you're following this tutorial, that is an option for you guys. but that's what I did. The thumb came detached on the paracord here, so I won't be able to present it in all of its glory. But yeah, here it is. The arms do seem kind of long, but whatever. That's a problem for future me as well. Now let's go try to put on the helmet over there. Success. No voice box. Didn't want to screw around with that yet. The EVA foam and the air ducts made the arms super lightweight, and the fingers are extremely fun to operate, as well as the entire suit. It's just so cool to look at it and finally see me actually wearing it with arms. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I appreciate your patience. If you like these builds that I do, like and subscribe for more videos.